Okay, so you may have heard about this in the last month or so.
Do you want to be back with her?
I want to see if there's that possibility.
Are you kidding me?
It's the most recent finale of The Bachelor, which in its 22nd season ended in the spectacle of a completely unedited breakup between the Bachelor Ari and his fiancée Beccas, who he's leaving for the runner-up. I'm gonna stop it here because this legitimately goes on for 25 minutes before being talked about for another hour and a half. I hadn't seen much of the Bachelor franchise before this, but I couldn't help but see a lot of parallels to a show I really enjoy, the dark but incredibly smart series Unreal from Gertrude Shapiro, a former producer on The Bachelor. Now, comparing these two shows is more than obvious. Unreal centers around an almost identical show to The Bachelor called Everlasting, but instead of focusing on the contestants, it shows us how the sausage is made, following the producers of the show as they manipulate the contestants into providing footage for the best television they can make.
Let me just explain something to you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
PAs fetch things, producers produce things.
What does that even mean?
It means that I create conditions for things to happen and then I actually make them happen.
So you're a wizard, dressed as a homeless person, because let's be honest.
But what isn't as obvious is how layered Unreal's approach to commentary really is. Unreal faces us with big moral questions about truth, cost, and consequences, which, in a roundabout way, is exactly what The Bachelor is about. As it turns out, our experiences watching The Bachelor and Unreal are flip sides of the same coin, because they both ask us the same questions, just in completely different contexts. So that's what we're going to look at today, how Unreal flips The Bachelor on its head. I'm going to try to keep this video to this season of The Bachelor and the first season of Unreal for the sake of simplicity, but I'm also going to steer clear of any major spoilers for Unreal because I think it's definitely a show worth watching. I'm Jackson, and this is Ideas at Play. So first things first, here's a little background on Unreal. The show's main character is Rachel, an unstable but talented producer working on Everlasting. Her relationship with the show is complicated, to put it nicely, because she doesn't really feel great about what they do, but she's also really, really good at it. Her boss is the showrunner Quinn, who, let's say, is a little rough around the edges.
So you keep an eye on Boy Toy while I'll go talk to Waggerstein, because I'm going balls deep in this bitch.
We see the manipulation that creates Everlasting, and because of that, get a completely new perspective on this reality show about true love. But what makes any of this special? Tons of shows or satires or commentaries on politics or pop culture. I've covered a couple on this channel. Well, what sets Unreal apart is its ability to break down its target, The Bachelor, and get to its underlying ideas, and then build a new perspective of those ideas on top of the original. In both The Bachelor and Unreal, we're actually tackling some pretty big moral dilemmas. A bunch of women are brought on to compete for the love of a man who dates them all simultaneously while whittling them down one by one before picking his final bride.
Each one of those girls is your girlfriend.
The further we go down this rabbit hole, the more invested everyone gets, and each cut becomes more painful than the last. Basically, the idea is that through breaking 29 hearts as a nationally televised sport, The Bachelor can find love. But is that worth it? Likewise, Unreal is posing the same moral dilemma in an even more meta way. Is it okay to manipulate and cause this pain in the name of making a good television show? And if it's okay for love and not for TV, why? The genius of Unreal and The Bachelor is that even before we get a good grasp on that question, we're thrown the monkey wrench of being reminded that these people signed up for this experience, whether or not they know what that entails. And this variable introduces a whole new slew of questions. The Bachelor consistently rakes in over 9 million viewers per finale, which is super duper insane for a 2018 show that's 2 hours long. On top of that, there's an entire culture surrounding the show. The exposure for contestants is huge. People have a lot to gain by being on The Bachelor, or Everlasting, from social media fame and the endorsements that come with it.
Pick me. And then when the show's over and you break it off, the audience will be with you. Because I'm just a hot-blooded Latina temptress with a bangin' body and a sexy bikini line that will get a lot of exposure.
To romantic adventures around the globe, or the obviously stated promise of finding love. And while not all the contestants get along, the sheer amount of time spent with the other women offers the possibility for a sort of sisterhood as well. The only price you have to pay is to put yourself at the mercy of the producers, sacrifice your privacy, and risk humiliation on national television. It's a deal that even Beccas, the woman who was dumped for 25 minutes on camera at the beginning of this video, doubled down on when she agreed to be the Bachelorette. Unreal offers all of its characters similar deals, trading in parts of themselves to get what they want. Rachel trades in her beliefs and personal well-being for the power and the thrill that being a star producer provides.
I want to produce the greatest finale in everlasting history.
Quinn represents the end result of making this deal for years, having lost herself completely to her job and without a life outside the show, but having become a god within her own domain. This deal with the devil, also called a Faustian bargain, is at the center of Shapiro's intentions for making the show.
I don't know if you guys have heard this, but morals are they kind of no longer exist. And the notion of selling out no longer exists because it's all about self-publishing and self-promotion. It's kind of quaint to have morals. So it's clear to us that is, again, kind of Faustian. It's a battle for her soul in a very clear way. She's confronting it every single day.
The Faustian bargain that Unreal presents to Rachel is the same one that The Bachelor presents to us. The cost we pay is being the bait for the show. After all, if nobody watched, there would be no exposure to gain and no public humiliation to suffer. What we gain in exchange is a voyeuristic power, the ability to follow the development of relationships in a way that we could never do in real life. And the way we watch The Bachelor shares more parallels to the producers who form the antiheroes of Unreal than most of us would care to admit. We become fans of our favorite contestants and poll for the outcomes that would be best for him or for her, but in reality, they'd just be best for us. That's the same line of reasoning that producers on Unreal use to manipulate the contestants, convincing them to do things by claiming they'd be best for the contestants, when really, they'd just be best for the show. That's not to say that these goals never line up. Often, Rachel uses seeds of truth to get people to do what she wants. Sometimes it helps them out, but those payoffs for the contestant are largely secondary, and the full choice is held back from them. Think of Beccas' breakup again. While many Bachelor diehard fans felt there was no reason to have this breakup done on camera since the show was done filming, Ari and the show may have done her a favor in the long run. Her heartbreak is a huge story for the franchise.
Maybe he did do this well. And maybe him doing this led us to now have Becca as going to the season probably the most loved, most cherished, most congratulated Bachelorette we've ever had.
That's not a deal she made though. It was made for her. And who knows if she would have traded in that heartbreak and public humiliation for the prize it provides. On Unreal, everyone is producing those around them in the same way. In the pilot, Quinn rehires Rachel after a meltdown got her fired from the previous season, saying,
I need to see that you have learned from this and that you can change. Believe it or not, I care about you.
That may be true, and Rachel certainly is in her element on set, even if she struggles with the cost, but make no doubt about it, Quinn just wants to get her best producer back.
That's funny, because right now it feels a little like blackmail.
While it's called reality TV, we all know that it's not real. And Rachel knows this even better than we do as viewers.
I thought they wrote. No, they don't.
But it is reality adjacent. The details might not be real, but we accept that idea when we watch reality TV because we think it might reveal something about humanity that is true. Becca's reaction to being dumped certainly feels real. Did she really think she was getting a happily ever after? Maybe not. But being dumped for a national audience certainly hurts pretty badly. In the same way, everyone who works on Everlasting knows that it's not real. Cameras and lights change every date into a movie set, and even the premise is hard to forget.
This whole thing's stupid, and getting married on live TV, we hardly know each other.
Yeah, it's legitimately mental.
Right?
But the show doesn't exist outside of reality. Everyone brings their own baggage, emotions, and lives into the house, and that's where Rachel and the other producers find their best ammunition. They control the context that they show these emotions, but the emotions themselves need to be real.
You lied to me about everything.
All you care about is this hideous, soul-sucking show.
I don't care what you need. You lied to me about everything.
Who will she attack when her emotions become dangerous?
Having this manipulation adjacent to reality provides a really interesting setting for these debates. After all, if you're manipulated into doing something, whether it's sabotage another contestant or watch 25 minutes of breakup footage, are you separate from your actions? And does honesty change that equation at all? Quinn hides behind the idea that she's been honest, and thus they knew what they were getting into.
Those girls know what they signed on for.
No, they don't. They have no idea the crap we pull.
Please. It is no worse than what happens to them in real life.
Sure, for some choices that's a fair point, but Unreal keeps changing the parameters of that deal and asks us to re-examine. And that brings us back to the beginning. This circular argument is at the heart of Unreal and what drives its most interesting questions. The answers are for you to decide. Just remember that while Unreal offers us both sides of this debate, just like its producers, it has its thumb on the scale. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. I'm trying to work on this channel to make it the best I can, so a huge shout out to my patrons over on Patreon for helping make this video possible. If you like my channel, please head over there and throw in anything you can, even if it's just $1, just so I can keep pushing this channel. You can also check out my blog for written articles about TV shows new and old, including my first watch through of The Sopranos. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.